There is something you felt, something that has followed you your entire life. You may not be able to explain it, but it's there, an ache, a knowing, a subtle pressure deep in your soul that says you are different. The world tries to drown it out. School, jobs, relationships, society, they all tell you to conform, to forget, to sleep. But that pressure never fades. If anything, it gets louder when you try to ignore it. You feel out of place, like a stranger in your own life. You wonder, why do I think so deeply? Why do I see what others don't? Why can't I just be normal? I'm here to tell you, you are not meant to be normal. That pull, that ache, that knowing, it's not a burden. It's a signal. And it's one of the most important signs that you are a chosen one. But the world doesn't tell you this. No one pulls you aside and says, hey, you're here for a divine mission. Instead, they label you. Sensitive, weird, dreamer, misfit. You've been misunderstood, maybe even rejected, because they see it too, even if they don't know what it is. They sense something in you, and it unsettles them. That something is your light. And the moment you realize that this light is not a curse but a calling, everything begins to shift. You start to remember. And when you remember, you awaken the power that has been dormant in you for lifetimes. Chosen ones know this awakening by the signs, the real signs that no one talks about. Not just repeating numbers or dreams, but soul-level triggers that activate a shift so deep it rewires the way you think, feel, and exist. These signs don't come gently. They come like a storm, like fire, like revelation. They force you to question everything: your beliefs, your identity, your purpose. And here's the truth. Most people run from these signs because they are uncomfortable. But you, if you are here, you are different. You are being called to face them, to understand them, to use them.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
Let's begin with the first and perhaps most profound sign: intensity. Chosen ones experience life differently. You feel more. You think more. You see more. Where others skim the surface, you dive into the depths. Emotions hit you like waves: joy, sorrow, love, loss. They don't just pass through you, they transform you. This intensity can feel like a curse, especially when the world tells you to numb it out. But this intensity is your gift. It's your sensitivity to energy, to truth, to the hidden layers of reality. You are like a tuning fork for the unseen. What others dismiss, you sense. What others deny, you know. This is not random, it is design. Your soul is tuned to a higher frequency, and that frequency hurts in a world that thrives on low vibrations. Now let me ask you something deeply personal. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the energy shift before anyone spoke? That's not imagination. That's perception. Your energy field is alive, and it's always reading, always interpreting, always guiding. The problem is, no one teaches you how to use it. So instead, you get overwhelmed, drained, even sick. But once you realize this is a sign that your energy sensitivity is a tool, you begin to take your power back. You protect your space. You guard your mind. You choose your environment with precision. And slowly you begin to thrive, not because the world changed, but because you did. Another sign that chosen ones instantly recognize but rarely talk about is the struggle. You've probably noticed that your life hasn't been easy. In fact, it's been filled with challenge, loss, and hardship. You might wonder, why me? Why is everything so hard? Here's why. The universe trains its warriors through fire. You were never meant to have a comfortable life. You were meant to have a meaningful one. Every challenge, every betrayal, every heartbreak, it wasn't punishment. It was preparation. You've been forged like steel, not to break, but to rise. Others live in comfort and stay asleep. But you've suffered, and through that suffering, you've awakened. And here's where it gets even deeper. Your pain is not just yours. It's ancestral, generational, collective. Chosen ones often carry the weight of their bloodline, the trauma of their family, the karma of past lives. Why? Because you are the breaker of chains, is the healer, the one who transforms darkness into light. When you heal, you don't just heal yourself, you heal all who came before you. That's power. That's purpose. And that's why your journey has been so intense, because you are not just living for you. You are living for many. Let me hit you with a question that could change your life. What if every painful moment in your life was actually an initiation? What if the loss, the rejection, the isolation, it was all part of a sacred plan to awaken your gifts? The truth is, chosen ones walk a lonely path, not because they are unworthy of love or connection, but because they are being set apart. The universe isolates them to refine them. You felt it, the solitude, the disconnection. But solitude is not loneliness, it is sacred space. In that space you find yourself. You hear the whispers of your soul. You meet the divine. And when the time is right, the isolation ends and the mission begins. That mission is why you're here. That's the ultimate sign. You've always known you were here for a reason, even if you couldn't name it. That reason is now waking up. The world is shifting. Darkness is rising. And in this chaos, the chosen ones activate. You are not random. You are not small. You are a key, a catalyst, a creator. And your time is now. But before we unlock the final and most powerful signs, we must dive into something few dare to explore: the inner battle. Because when you awaken, the first war you fight is within. Doubt, fear, guilt, shame. These are the chains that bind your power. The world has taught you to be less, to shrink, to apologize for your light. But that ends now. Because when you see these feelings not as truth, but as programming, you begin to reclaim your mind. And once you reclaim your mind, you reclaim your reality. Everything you've been taught about life was designed to keep you asleep. School taught you obedience, not wisdom. Media taught you fear, not truth. Society taught you to conform, not to create. But the signs are everywhere, the cracks in the illusion. Chosen ones see through the veil. They question, they seek, they remember. And that remembering is dangerous to the system, to the control structures, to the forces that thrive on ignorance. That's why you've faced resistance. That's why you've been attacked, criticized, misunderstood. because your awakening is a threat to the status quo. Now I ask you, are you ready to step into your full power, knowing that the world may not understand? Are you ready to stand alone, not in weakness, but in sovereignty? Because that's what it takes to be chosen. Not ego, not fame, but alignment. The willingness to live your truth, even when it's hard, even when it costs you comfort. That is the mark of the chosen. And here's the wildest part. Once you say yes to this path, the universe begins to move. People appear. Opportunities align. Mystical experiences unfold. Synchronicity becomes your language. The signs accelerate. Why? Because you've activated your destiny. And destiny doesn't wait. It pulls you forward faster than you thought possible. This is just the beginning. In the next part, I will reveal the rare signs that chosen ones feel in their body, in their dreams, and in the world around them. I will show you how to harness these signs to unlock your spiritual superpowers and shape reality from the inside out. This is where everything changes. When you begin to see the signs not with your eyes, but with your soul, everything changes. The ground beneath you doesn't feel the same. Time feels different. Reality feels more like a dream you're starting to control rather than a fixed structure you're trapped in. This is when the journey of the chosen one transforms from questioning to knowing, from seeking to becoming. The unseen signs begin to emerge, not the ones you can point to and say, "Look," but the ones that live inside you, that awaken in your dreams, your body, your very breath. And this awakening is not poetic, it's powerful. It's real. It's ancient. You were not just born to survive. You were born to reshape reality, to mold it like clay, to wield it with intention, because the chosen ones are creators, not by wish, but by design. The world doesn't tell you this. It can't. Because if every soul remembered the depth of their power, the illusion of control, of scarcity, of limitation, it would dissolve overnight. But chosen ones, those who are called to see beyond the veil, they feel it. They sense the edge of the matrix frame. They feel the energy beneath the surface of things. That's the unseen sign, the pull toward mastery, toward alignment, toward creation. You feel this pull, don't you? It tugs at your heart in the silence of the night. It flickers in your dreams. It whispers in the wind. There is more, it says. And it's not just a hope. It's a truth vibrating through your bones. There comes a moment in every chosen one's life where something shifts inside, like a veil being lifted, a wall crumbling, and suddenly, you are aware of energy in a way you can't explain. You walk into a room and feel tension like a storm cloud. You speak to someone and sense their pain, even if they smile. You close your eyes and feel the presence of something beyond yourself. This is not imagination. This is the unseen world, the realm the ancients spoke of, the space in which all physical reality is birthed. Chosen ones are bridges between this realm and the material one. You are sensitive not because you are weak, but because you are tuned in. Your body, your nervous system, your spirit, it's all an antenna, picking up frequencies most people ignore. And this too is a sign. Another hidden sign is the dreamscape. Your dreams are not random flashes of your subconscious. For chosen ones, dreams are messages, training grounds, even missions. You've had them, the dreams that feel too real, the ones where you are someone else, somewhere else, doing things you can't explain, flying, healing, fighting, remembering. These dreams are not entertainment, they are reminders. Your soul leaves your body when you sleep and returns to the higher realms to remember who you are, to reconnect with your mission, to receive instructions. But the world tells you dreams are meaningless. That's because the world fears the truth. Your dreams are sacred. Keep a journal. Pay attention to symbols. They are the language of the soul. And then there's the sign no one wants to talk about, the physical awakening. Your body is not just flesh, it's energy. When your soul begins to awaken, your body reacts. You feel surges of energy. You experience chills, heat, vibrations. Your sleep changes. Your appetite shifts. You feel pulled to certain foods, repelled by others. Sometimes your body even hurts, not because something's wrong, but because something's right. Your energy is recalibrating. You are shedding old frequencies. Chosen ones undergo spiritual upgrades, and those upgrades hit the body first. You are becoming more light, and light changes the vessel. Don't fear it. Honor it. Listen to your body, it knows the path. Now here's where it gets supernatural. As you begin to awaken, you unlock abilities that seem impossible to the unawakened. This isn't fiction, it's fact. You start to manifest rapidly, thinking of something, and it appears. You start to experience telepathy, sensing people's thoughts, finishing their sentences, knowing what they're about to say. You begin to feel time bend, moments stretching, collapsing, repeating. These are not glitches. These are signs that you are ascending, rising out of the fixed matrix into the creator realm. The more you align with your purpose, the more reality responds. You are no longer reacting to life, you are generating it. Let me ask you something that could shake your world. If reality is just a mirror, what would happen if you completely mastered your reflection? Sit with that. Feel the depth. Because chosen ones are not victims of reality, they are reflections of the divine. They emit frequency, and the world adjusts. That's the secret. That's the power. And that's what they never wanted you to know. Here's the wisdom the ancients knew and the modern world forgot. Thought is power. Feeling is fuel. Action is creation. Chosen ones live this. They train their mind not to control, but to focus. They align their emotions not to suppress, but to direct. They move with purpose not to impress, but to create. Every thought becomes a seed. Every feeling becomes water. Every action becomes light, and reality grows accordingly. But power must be grounded in wisdom. That's why the final sign, the ultimate sign, is service. Chosen ones are not here to dominate. They are here to elevate. The more you awaken, the more you realize it's not about me, it's about we. Your gifts are not just for you. They are for the world, for the lost, the broken, the seekers. You are a lighthouse guiding others through the storm. That's why you were called. That's why you were chosen. Because you are strong enough to remember, to rise, to lead. And now I must challenge you. What are you doing with your signs? Are you ignoring them, fearing them, suppressing them? Or are you embracing them, exploring them, living them? Because knowledge without action is wasted light. The world doesn't need more information, it needs embodied truth. And you, yes, you are that truth. In form, in motion, in awakening. Step into your power. Trust your signs. Live your mission. You are not here by accident. You are here to reshape reality.